Recently we did a video on the up-and-coming Maryland city that's being built in Saudi Arabia by the Saudi prince. So that left me wondering, how much money does this guy really have? So today we're going to be reacting to how Saudi Prince of Salman spent his trillions. You heard me correctly, not billions, trillions. So let's get into it.
You've just clicked on a video that's about to show you how the Prince of Saudi Arabia spends his magnificent $2 trillion fortune, a fortune that obliterates the combined wealth of the top 17 richest people on any list today. Well, I'm glad you asked, and I'll keep the answer short, sweet, and crude. Oil. You see, as the anointed de facto ruler of a country that bears his last name as its first name, Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, or MBS, sits at the top of Aramco, the biggest oil and gas company ever. It's the third most valuable company, behind only Apple and Microsoft, and ahead of Alphabet, Meta, Berkshire Hathaway, Amazon, and of course, Tesla. These matters way less on Mars, but the truth is, MBS does have control over what he can splurge millions on from his own wealth and from the wealth of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And on top of Aramco, MBS also controls the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Saudi Arabia, called the Private Investment Fund, and with assets of $500 billion. You begin to wonder, what can you possibly buy as a gift for someone who is obviously filthy rich? And boy, are some of the ridiculous items on this list gonna color you jealous. Especially since the first on our list is the painting called Salvator Mundi, the most expensive painting in our history. This magnificent piece was done in the 15th to 16th century by none other than Italian Renaissance artist Leonardo da Vinci, who just like MBS, didn't know where to draw the line with the gifts he was born with. The Salvator Mundi did a tour in 2017, where it was displayed at exhibitions in Hong Kong, San Francisco, and New York. During its exhibition in New York by the auction house called Christie's, it was purchased by the Saudi Arabian Minister for Culture, Prince Badr bin Abdullah, for $450,300,000, about $500 million. The claim was that it was for display at the Louvre Abu Dhabi, but reports have it that Prince Badr bin Abdullah was actually standing in for MBS, who is currently in possession of the masterpiece. Salvator Mundi, meaning Savior of the World, is a beautiful painting by Da Vinci that features a portrait of Jesus Christ holding a non-refracting crystal orb in his left hand. This painting of Jesus is on Mohammed bin Salman's mega yacht, where he's hung it on the wall with one nail instead of three. You can say MBS does like putting an extra layer of that pizzazz on all his things. It may be a $500 million painting of one of history's most influential people on his wall, or just extra gold coating on his already expensive fleet of cars, like his gold-plated Bugatti Veyron Grand Sport. This car costs a whopping $12.5 million, and the Grand Sport has been recognized as one of the fastest street legal vehicles in the world, with a speed of 431 kilometers per hour and a 0 to 100 kilometers per hour acceleration in 2.5 seconds. That acceleration just about edges that of the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, which goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2.8 seconds. And spending on luxury vehicles goes from 0 to 100 in the blink of an eye, because he splurged almost $8 million to buy this Lamborghini, and, of course, covered it in gold. In fact, he owns a Rolls-Royce Phantom drophead coupe, a Bentley Continental Flying Spur, a Rolls-Royce Phantom Coupe, a Range Rover, and a Mercedes G63 6x6 truck, for a grand total of $36 million. And, of course, he's covered them all in gold, and even ornamented the chairs with gold-like embroidery. At this point, maybe his cars run on gold instead of gas, and if that doesn't fuel your desire to get rich, maybe his magnificent French chateau called the Chateau Louis XIV will. Back in 2015, when Prince Salman purchased this mansion for $300 million, it became the world record purchase for a residential property. But MBS didn't stop there. No, instead he got to work and employed Saudi-born French property developer Imad Khashoggi to rebuild and redesign the mansion. Khashoggi merged high-tech installations and controls with 17th century craft traditions and employed them in the rebuilding of this 57-acre chateau. Over the course of 3 years, over 131,000 people worked on this mansion. That's an average of 120 people per day. They included experts like stonemasons building the house to style, marble workers who sculpted a pristine statue of Louis XIV and molded for the Grand Siècle-style fireplaces, gardeners that designed large expanses of parks and French-style gardens with embroidered box hedges and tree-lined labyrinths, and painters and decorators that painted the ceilings of several reception halls, master suites, and the cupola of the main drawing room. The chandeliers are magnificent high lights hanging in the chateau, but these otherworldly paintings and magnificent gardens are the highlights of this luxurious home. And to think the Salvatore Mundi painting that we discussed earlier is almost double the price of this massive estate. A $500 million painting that hangs on the walls of Mohammed bin Salman's Serene yacht. That's right. The Serene yacht is ginormous. It is, in fact, among the top 10 largest yachts in the world, with a length of 439 feet and a beam standing at 60 feet. Serene has a jacuzzi with automatic lighting on the outer top deck, lounge areas, sitting rooms and bars on its decks, several staterooms and a master suite, a helipad, and a garage to house its many speedboats and tenders for when MBS wants to go overboard. But MBS went overboard with a different kind of tender called Monet, as this sea monstrosity is unsurprisingly valued at $500 million. It was initially built for Russian vodka tycoon Yuri Shefler for $330 million. And in 2014, the one and only Bill Gates leased the yacht at $5 million per week. But while vacationing in the south of France in 2015, Prince Salman decided to splash $550 million on the water vessel. From the hands of one ultra-rich man to another, the Serene yacht is an example of great sportsmanship amongst the wealthy. And speaking of sportsmanship, Prince Salman's latest acquisition is a legendary English soccer establishment called Newcastle United Football Club, or more commonly known as the Magpies, through the Sovereign Wealth Fund of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, known as the Public Investment Fund, or PIF. MBS was able to purchase the English football club for £300 million. The deal took almost 2 years to complete. But at the end of the day, Newcastle is now the richest club in the world due to their owners, the PIF, having a value in assets totaling almost $500 billion. An owner that also has numerous investments in big names like Disney, Uber, Facebook, Starbucks, and of course, everyone's favorite pharmaceutical company, Pfizer. For perspective, the second richest football club owner in the entirety of the most popular and most profitable sport in our history is Manchester City Football Club, whose owner, Sheikh Mansour, has a net worth of $20 billion. Many have seen this acquisition by Mohammed bin Salman through PIF as a way to diversify their sovereign wealth fund from just oil. And like we said, PIF invests in some pretty big names already, which has brought its assets to $500 billion. Soccer is an investment that cannot be snuffed at, as more and more billionaires have joined the party. For example, Russian-Israeli oil billionaire oligarch Roman Abramovich and the Italian billionaire family Andrea Agnelli and family own 2 of the biggest clubs. And more recently, the wealthy in the US of A have turned their eyes to developing and investing in the sport in their region too. For perspective on the lucrative nature of soccer, a top soccer club like Manchester United or Chelsea spend more on players' wages in a single year than the entire civilizations of the world spend on asteroid defense. This is a great deal for the Magpies to elevate them to that level. But it's also great for MBS and the PIF. And perhaps the human race needs to set its priorities right on world-ending asteroids. Except for this guy, the rest of us have room for improvement. But Hotel Abraj Khudai is one hotel that doesn't have room for improvement. You know, seeing as its 10,000 rooms make it the Guinness World Record holder for the biggest hotel in the world. It's another project by the Ministry of Finance and will cost $3.5 billion to complete. It is one of the most impressive and audacious mega projects going on in the world today, and it is also part of MBS's plan to diversify his nation's economy. With its location in the city of Mecca, This hotel is perfect for exploiting an already profitable venture, pilgrimage. Abraj Khudai will cover 1.4 million square meters across 12 great towers and its 10,000 rooms. It is fitted with 4 helipads, garage space enough for almost 3,000 cars, 70 restaurants, and more. Spending a night in the luxurious rooms will cost $5,000, and you'll get to enjoy amenities like the gym and wellness centers, spas, massages, luxury car rentals, fresh and thermal water baths, scrubs, saunas, pools, and more. Prince Salman also had the architects from Dar Al Hadassah and interior designers from London-based Arene Hospitality Company do something special for the royal family. And that is the fact that the first 5 floors of Hotel Abraj Khudai are set aside and designed to the taste of MBS and members of the royal family whenever they wish to visit. With the wealth at his disposal, MBS might as well build a city from scratch. Wait, he wouldn't, right? Right? Boys and girls, Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud is building a city from scratch. It's called Neom, and it's the most ridiculously ambitious thing you've ever seen. First of all, Neom is a smart city under construction with a name from 2 words. The Greek word neo, meaning new, and the abbreviation of the Arabic word for future. Basically, it's a city so futuristic, they had to name it twice. But seriously, when MBS announced this project in October of 2017, the plan of creating the first self-sustaining, advanced, smart, and net zero carbon emission city in the world was the promise. You know, an actual place where the aliens can lodge when they eventually come.
So when OneWeb, what it's about is, if you think about what we're trying to do at Neom, Neom is an accelerator of human progress, not just some humans, but all humans. So we want to make sure that the connectivity creates an environment that we call digital air. That means wherever you are, you don't have to worry about, is it Wi-Fi? What's the connection speed? It gives you what you need, when you need it, right person, right time, right place.
And wouldn't you know it, it has a budget of $500 billion for its completion. This is a real thing, guys. Seriously, you can look it up. It will be 3 times the size of New York City and will be designed in such a way that everything you need at any point in the city is within walking or cycling distance, since, you know, there won't be cars or even traditional roads in Neom. Instead, long-distance transportation will be made using shared, autonomous electric shuttles, high-speed underground transit systems, and urban air mobility. Not to mention, the seaport will be the first fully automated seaport, and the experience at Neom Airport is seamless from the curb to the gate. Sections of the gigacity like the Line and the Oxagon are already under construction, so it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Earlier in this video, we posed the question, what can one buy as a gift to someone like this, with a net worth well over $2 trillion? Tell us in the comments below. Wrong responses only. But truth be told, we may never know. MBS controls 553 million acres of land, filled to the brim with crude oil. He's technically the 2nd largest landowner in the world, ahead of the Pope and behind only the Crown and Queen of England. And it's not every day you find yourself amongst 2 of the most powerful people on God's green earth.
Well, you see it for yourself. It simply goes to show that $2 trillion is not a little bit of money. I hope you guys learned a lot as much as I did. We'll see you on the next one.